So our speaker this morning is Joanne Callahan. Joanne is a best-selling author, sleep expert, speaker, and an amazing lady, actually, who gets shit done. Excuse my language, but she does, right? I've had the pleasure of Joanne being on my mastermind and working with Joanne and supporting her over the years, and to see the growth that she has created and got involved in being the best version of herself and getting out there and making things happen has been phenomenal. So it's a great pleasure to have her back on. And again, Joanne is one of our founding members of the Mary Spanish Point is in County Clare, by the way, just so you know, it's not in Spain. Right, so yeah, it's where the Spanish Armada came in to Ireland. But there you go, beautiful part of the country. I have a personal affiliation with it. That's why Chris is rubbing it in here for me. It's a great place. So again, go back to our speaker. So Joanne, I will let you take over. I will prompt you when you have 5 minutes, and I'll prompt you then again when you have 1 minute. And after that, we'll come back for Q&A. So Joanne, take it away.
Fantastic. Great. So most of you know me at this stage. I'm an author, a sleep expert. I'm a podcaster too. Recently there in the last number of weeks, I set up my own podcast, Empowering Family Health. And today I want to talk to you about sleep, but I also want to talk to you about how you can optimize your weight loss with better sleep. So this is something that a lot of people overlook. A lot of people aren't aware that sleep has a massive impact on the efficiency of how we lose weight. And it is a big frustration that a lot of people have when it comes to losing weight. So good quality sleep has a massive impact on your body composition and how you can lose weight, but how you can burn fat, right? So not just losing weight, burning fat, that bad visceral fat, especially around the belly area. So sleep helps to regulate our hormones that control our appetite and our metabolism and helping to burn fat as well. So you're going to be blown away by this, and really an insight and an eye-opener to how more effective you can be at losing weight if that's something that you want to do, or keeping an optimal weight or good weight. So Sean Stevenson, he's a sleep specialist who I've learned an awful lot of my information from. He says sleep deprivation is directly related to an inability to lose weight. That's a very big statement. So before I begin, firstly, we really need to have a shift in our perspective. I always talk about perspectives, our view of the world, our view of what it is we think about something. And if we have a shift in our perspective and understanding about how sleep impacts our body, and in particular the fat storing, as I say, and the fat burning, and really then we can only appreciate and prioritize our sleep then. So really when we understand something, we're going to go, oh my God, I never knew that. I'm going to try that now. We really will have more value and an appreciation and respect it, and then we will prioritize it. That's really the golden key. So we are actually hardwired to think that diet and exercise alone is what's going to have us lose weight or have an impact on losing weight. And sleep is not really considered an awful lot because, you know, we eat nutrition foods and, you know, we're whole foods, we exercise, so we're doing everything right to lose weight. We're actually doing something, right? We're actually actively doing something. But when we're sleeping, it's passive. We're not doing anything. So therefore people think, or don't even consider that sleep can be a massive impact when it comes to losing weight. So poor sleep isn't the only factor. I'm going to actually, I have a screen. I want to share the screen there as well if I can.
I'll have to let you share the screen here.
Oh, do you?
No.
Oh, if you can't, it doesn't matter.
No, I can, yeah. Just give it 2 seconds. And
I just have some studies that I just want to show you. Really important studies that will really help to factor in, really help to...
No. There you go. You'll be able to share now.
Just tell me there, Pat, now. You know, I just press the button. Now you should be able to see it.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a study in the Annals of Internal Medicine. So they found, and the link is there, and of course if you want any of these links to further have a look at these, I can send them on, it's no problem. So when participants got adequate sleep, more than half of the weight they lost was fat. So this is the visceral fat that we're talking about, the bad fat. And this is another one in the journal Current Biology. 65,000 adults they had different work days and weekends. So this is like shift work. And they tripled the odds of being overweight. So they're more likely to be overweight as a result of an inconsistency in their schedule. So I want to talk a bit about the circadian rhythm, and we are part of the biological process, part of nature, part of this daytime, nighttime, all our hormones, all our biological processes. We are synced and we are aligned with this circadian rhythm. And when we are optimally synced and aligned, this is when our whole body just works more optimally, including sleep. And a lot of people have difficulty sleeping, especially in the times we're in at the moment with all this uncertainty and fear and stress and everything. So when we can optimize our daytime rhythms, we can optimize our sleep, reduce stress, and increase our weight loss as well. So I have a lot of slides here. I'm not going to go through them all. Now, this is a really good quote that I like. We often fear what we do not understand. So there's a lot of bad news there in those studies, and it really significantly shows how lack of sleep can have an impact on gaining weight. So really, we often fear what we don't understand. Our best defense is knowledge. So when you understand, again, going back to understanding, but it's applied knowledge, really. You have to apply it. We can learn, and we all know how to lose weight, eat less and exercise more, but we don't do it. And now I'm talking about sleep as well to give you a further impact as well. So most people think the diet and the exercise, as I say, and then what we're eating as well. I'm not going to go too much into nutrition and the things, but we think calories in, calories out. But what is the calories in consisted of? Is it, nutritious plant foods diet, or is it sweets and cakes and stuff? So, it depends on what the type of foods that we're taking in. Now, the circadian rhythm, one thing that I want to talk about in the circadian rhythm is this 24-hour biological process, time-restricted eating. What is that? So it's a type of intermittent fasting. Now, we, over thousands and thousands of years, when we were cavemen, we only ate during the daytime. And we've evolved that way. So our body is used to only eating during the daytime. So we have a natural fast at nighttime. So we never ate when the sun went down, when it got dark, we never ate because we couldn't see, whatever. But that's the biological process. That's what our body is used to. That's how we've evolved. So time-restricted eating is a time when we can give our body a rest to do all the healing and the repairing that needs to be done during the nighttime. So it's like, most of you know the M50 maybe, or the M7, a busy motorway. So when there is upgrades been done, or repair or maintenance, they usually do it at nighttime when there's less traffic on the road. Well, it's the same with the body. So at nighttime, all the right hormones are there at nighttime to help with the healing and the repairing and the growth, rejuvenation, all that stuff. So it's a great time to heal the gut. And most people nowadays have a leaky gut because we're overeating and we're not allowing time for the gut to heal. So time-restricted eating can have a massive effect here. So really the ideally is to not eat for 12 hours. So stop eating at 8 o'clock in the evening time or 7 o'clock, whatever it is. Wait for 12 hours before you eat again. Now, if you can stretch it an extra 2 hours to 14 hours, that is ideal, and most people can do that. You're giving your body more help with all the repairing as well, and it's a very effective way. Exercising first thing in the morning before breakfast is very effective for using the fat stores as energy. So if you can manage 14 hours, some people do 16 hours. Now, I would say to people, look, there are certain people who are on medications, or you may need to ask your doctor about that, or if you want to do further intermittent fasting. But intermittent fasting is a phenomenal way to repair the gut. I'm going to go into the hormones. Okay, so these are the nightly hormones, okay, that are involved in appetite. So ghrelin and leptin. So when we are sleep deprived, these two hormones help with our appetite. So we have to have, leptin makes us feel satisfied or full. So that's what tells us when to stop eating, right? Because you can't overeat. Ghrelin is the other one. Ghrelin is the hunger hormone. I like to call it the gremlin. The gremlin hormone, like the Gremlins, the movie, if you've ever seen that. So ghrelin makes us feel hungry, leptin makes us feel full. When we are sleep deprived, your body is actually going to need more energy. So your body is so intelligent and so clever. So what it does is it ramps up the ghrelin, makes us feel hungry to eat more food, to get more energy. It's really, really clever, right? But the problem there then is the following day, when you're eating more foods, your body is craving for glucose because glucose is the quickest form of energy. So you're going to not only feel hungry, but you're going to eat all the wrong foods. You're going to eat biscuits and like, have you ever, you know, when you're really, really starving, absolutely starving, you may not, a salad may not satisfy you at all. It'll be the last thing you want to go for when you're absolutely starving. You may want a biscuit or some carbs or something like that, because your body is really, really intelligent. And that's what craving is. Your body is actually craving glucose. So that's ghrelin and leptin. This is a study about pre-diabetics. So there's an awful lot of people who are pre-diabetic and don't even actually realize it. So this is borderline of diabetes, and type 2 diabetes is on the rise big time, and it's very much tied to sleep deprivation. So it's a study from the journal Sleep Disorders. They followed 2,000 participants, and they showed that when they slept for 5 hours per night, they were more likely to be
5 minutes, sorry.
Right, clinically identified as pre-diabetic. So that's absolutely massive. Melatonin and cortisol. So in line with the circadian rhythm, melatonin is our sleep hormone and cortisol is our stress hormone. Cortisol is a daytime hormone. So cortisol is involved in our stress response, but we do need cortisol to get us up in the morning time. They work indirectly with each other, as I said. So melatonin is a sleep hormone, and we absolutely need melatonin for getting us to sleep at nighttime. But melatonin is a powerful antioxidant. It's actually a fat-burning hormone as well. And melatonin is super important when it comes to losing weight. But melatonin is also very effective for the immune system as an antioxidant as well, and burning that fat. But melatonin also produces more adipose tissue. Adipose tissue is like a brown adipose tissue. The brown adipose tissue it burns white fat. So if you've got the more melatonin that you have in your body, the better, because you're going to sleep better and get deeper sleep, have more of that healing, repairing. But you're also going to have this brown adipose tissue. Brown adipose tissue has more energy in it as well. Young children have a lot of brown adipose tissue. So you see children bouncing around the place, like where are they getting the energy from? They've more brown adipose tissue than us, and it naturally declines as we age. So this dancing, working indirectly with melatonin and cortisol. And of course, if we're sleep deprived, we're going to have more cortisol in the body, and cortisol increases our glucose. And glucose is stored in our muscles as well. And when we're sleep deprived and the body needs more energy, the body is going to burn your muscle mass as opposed to fat or any other glucose, because it's hanging on to all the fat and the energy stores. So that's a really big thing. Insulin and the human growth hormone. So we need the human growth hormone for muscle growth. And insulin, if we eat late at nighttime and insulin is released, it's going to impede on the release of the human growth hormone. So again, these two work indirectly with each other as well. And also, your pancreas doesn't work very effectively at nighttime. So you're not going to get a big increase of insulin at nighttime. So you're going to have high levels of blood pressure and fat in your blood circulation. So that's going to keep, and this is a massive reason why a lot of people wake up during the nighttime as well. So there's loads of information that I could give you on this. We're running out of time. Let me see any other really important ones. Testosterone is another big one, testosterone in men. Men need to have at least 3 hours of uninterrupted sleep to have enough testosterone in their body. We know testosterone is for focus, strength, endurance, all that kind of thing. Women need testosterone as well, but not as much as men. But it has been shown that if men have, for 1 week, if they have 5 hours or less of sleep in a 1 week period, they'll have a 15% reduction of testosterone. Doesn't seem like much, but it's enough to age them by 10 to 15 years. So that's a massive one again. And again, testosterone is a fat-burning hormone as well. That 15 minutes went really quick. Oh my God.
You've a minute left.
I have a minute left. Okay, this is I have to end on a funny slide because I don't want to end on doom and gloom. So, 4 hours of sleep at the age of 21, and we're ready to party again. But when we reach the age of 40 or maybe 50, if you say one more thing to me, I'll smack you in the face. So it's change of perspective on how we're feeling, depending on how we age. Just a few really quick tips. Getting sunshine first thing in the morning is super important. It switches off the melatonin. Cortisol is there to get us up and get us going in the morning. A wind down routine is super important because we need to reduce everything. We need to reduce body temperature, all that to enable the onset of sleep. Turn off the electronic devices. I've talked about that in length before. Avoid caffeine. It's a stimulant. Avoid alcohol. It interrupts your REM sleep. Believe it or not, it may knock you out and you may fall into bed, but you will have fragmented sleep with alcohol. And a consistent routine, again, aligning into this circadian rhythm. So waking up at the same time is really probably the most important tip that I can give you, even on the weekends, I'm sorry to say, but waking up at the same time is super important. So I'm just going to leave you with my contact details. I'm always looking out for health professionals, doctors, any experts in the health area to interview. I am inundated with interviews at the moment. I'm thinking of releasing them twice a week now at this stage because I just have so many queued up. Also, I have a Patreon page as well if you want to support the podcast. The link is there, and the link for my book and all that. That is it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Joanne. And
I'll stop sharing here now.
Yeah, stop sharing there so we can come back to everybody. Well done. To be honest with you, 15 minutes definitely isn't enough in terms of the amount of information that you could provide. Yeah. So you certainly need to be doing a webinar for people to come on and look at, because I'm looking here and I paid attention to a lot. Look, I paid attention to a lot of things that you've been sharing over time too, and so much of it makes sense, you know. And but the question I have here, I'm going to ask for first question is, how do you change that hormone in terms of really looking at the ghrelin and leptin? What changes you need to make? How do you change the behavior? If that makes sense.
It's all habits, Pat. It's all about the habits, the consistency, the routine, because the body likes habits, you see. And when you come back to like the different night shift work or shift work, whatever, you're working different hours, so you're going to bed at different times, this creates a social jet lag. And the body is always, always, always trying to get back into alignment with this circadian rhythm. It's always doing that. So the more it has to work at that, the more pressure and the more stress that you're putting on the body, because the body is always adapting. The body is great at adapting. So that's why consistency, going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time. Now, look, you can within a half an hour maybe or whatever, you don't be totally strict, but like a consistent routine. And this is what's going to have all your hormones, optimal amounts, including your ghrelin and your leptin as well. The most important thing is don't eat 3 hours before you go to bed, because you want to watch those blood sugar levels, because that can have an impact on your ghrelin and leptin as well. So it's just really sensible things. And when you know what's going on in the body before you go to bed and during the nighttime, a lot of people are waking up during the nighttime. A lot of it is blood sugar issues. And then you're starving the next day, these ghrelin and leptin. So it's consistency really, Pat, is the key word, I suppose, with it, yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you. Anybody any questions for Joanne? Brendan, then Karen, and then Beamy.
Joanne, just want to ask you, what's your take on the link between stress and weight?
Oh, massive. Absolutely massive. Cortisol is our stress hormone. So the more, and you see, ideally, cortisol is not a bad guy, right? We need cortisol. We need cortisol for our thyroid function as well. Thyroid helps to regulate our metabolism as well, right? But cortisol, ideally it's highest in the morning time, but if you've high cortisol in the evening time, that's going to have an impact. And this is where we really need to watch out for, is high cortisol levels in the evening, because it's not the normal, what the body wants, what the body is used to over, time. So if we have too much cortisol in the body, it's raising the blood sugar levels. If you go to bed at night time and you're after having a dessert, most people have desserts after the dinner. So if you have a dessert after dinner and you go to bed maybe say 2 hours later, all that sugar and stuff is going to rise. It's going to rise. And then what happens after that? We have a crash. Now we all have a baseline. So when you go below that baseline, your cortisol kicks in, gives you more cortisol. But what it does is it raises it above the baseline, and that's what wakes us up during the nighttime. So cortisol has an impact on so many different areas. And cortisol, If we have too much cortisol in the body, it stores in the liver, but the liver can only hold so much. So where does it go to then? As a fat, it stores as fat around the visceral area, especially around the organs, and that's where we need to really be mindful of, because it's constricting all our organs. So I could do an hour talk on that.
So in other words, Joanne, you're not losing any weight during your sleep time if that happens yet. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah, because you need the melatonin, right? And you need the growth hormone. You need, because these are fat burn and the testosterone, so all these nighttime hormones. So it's really, really important that we get a sleep. And melatonin is what's going to keep us transitioning through all our sleep cycles. So most of us wake up a few times during the nighttime, whatever. We actually naturally wake up at the end of a cycle, but sometimes we don't remember. We go straight back to sleep, and there's nothing wrong with that. Because we go through the cycle and we go into a deep sleep and then into a light sleep again, and the cycle continues. But when we have enough melatonin, it will keep us transitioning through all the stages without waking up, if you like. So we really need melatonin to get us into deep sleep. It's a deep sleep where we get all the healing, repairing, and that fat burning as well. That's when all that's going on.
Thanks, Joanne.
Brilliant. Thank you. And Karen, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Joanne, I just wanted to ask about the sleep patterns. I'm someone who's always been natural early riser. By that, I mean, I wake up at 4:30, 5 o'clock every morning, and I have all my life, as far as I'm aware. But I've noticed that probably in the last few months, I'm now waking up around about 6 o'clock. And of course, I'm now in my 60s. So is that something that changes with age, or?
Yeah. So we have different sleep requirements as we age. Teenagers are naturally night owls. They go to bed late and get up late, right? And that's natural. They're given a bit of a hard time over it. And as we age, the older we get, the earlier we wake up in the morning time. Now, no, you said you usually have woken up at 4:30 in the morning. That's really, really early. And now you're waking up at 6 o'clock. It could be a hereditary thing. So you're a morning lark. What do you get sufficient amount of sleep in total, Karen?
Yeah, because I'm usually in bed by 9 or 10 at night.
Then that's perfectly fine. Yeah, so you're getting the sleep requirements that you need. Are you waking up feeling energized and refreshed, ready to go?
Yeah.
There's no problem then. There's no problem. So you're getting the required amount of sleep. 85% sleep efficiency is what we're really aiming for during the night time. So that's the amount of time that we're in bed actually asleep. So 85%. So there's nothing wrong, Karen. Maybe it's just something that it's a hereditary thing. Maybe your parents were morning people as well. I don't know. It can be. But there's nothing wrong once you're getting a sufficient amount of sleep and you're going to bed early enough. So you're and it's consistent as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Beamy and then Donald.
Hi, Joanne.
Hi.
3 questions. My first question is, does sleeping more reduce cortisol?
Does sleeping more
Reduce the cortisol?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does, because basically it's back to this, the melatonin and the cortisol. Okay, so the two of them work indirectly with each other. So once melatonin is active, so the more melatonin that you have, it's going to help you have a deep, relaxing, rejuvenating, repairing sleep. And cortisol won't be there, won't be present, because once melatonin is running the show, then cortisol is asleep, if you like. So the more melatonin that we have, the more healing, repairing that can go on in the body, and the deeper sleep we're going to have. So again, it's these two hormones that work indirectly with each other. So it does reduce it, and it reduces inflammation as well massively, because cortisol is involved in inflammation, and weight gain is all inflammation as well.
Thank you. So some people, during the week, they sleep for like 5 hours and they decide, okay, let me just catch up during the weekend and sleep that extra 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
Does that help?
That's called the social jet lag. So you may find most people, if they have a 9-to-5 job Monday to Friday, and then they're going out, they get paid on a Friday, they go out and they binge, and they have a lie on the Saturday and the Sunday, and then on the morning they find it really hard to get out of bed. So Monday mornings is the worst day in a workplace for people being late, and that's why they can't get out of the bed, because they've shifted their circadian rhythm. And again, this is a stress on the body. So again, back to consistency, aligning with the circadian rhythm.
And say some people who are working full time, right? they can't afford the 8-hour sleep during the weekdays, and they do catch up during the weekend.
Yeah.
I myself have done it. And,
yeah, it's difficult for some, especially when you've got, different shift. First of all, if you're doing shift work, especially night shift work, I'd say get out of it if you can. I know people say, oh, I need the money, but like really, like it can take up to 10 years for you to develop type 2 diabetes. And when you have it, my God, and then that leads to obesity and heart attacks and strokes and everything and all sorts of terrible things, right? So it happens gradually over time. We don't notice it. So what I say is if you do have any kind of work like that, get out of it if you can. If not, because it's not always that easy for people, is just to try and get a consistency as best that you can. That's really the only thing that I can say. Yeah.
Thank you. And the last question, I've heard us, sleeping before 12 o'clock, like an hour of sleep before 12 o'clock is equal to 2 hours of sleep after 12.
What's happening there is we do most of our deep sleep in the first half of the night, and then we do most of our dreaming in the second half of the night. So the deep sleep is the healing, repairing. It's clearing out the liver. The liver is doing an awful lot of cleansing, and the brain, that clearing out the toxins in the brain, washing out all those toxins. All that is really primarily going on in the first half of the night. So if you're going, and all our organs work with this Chinese clock. So there's every organ in the body, if you like, has like a 2-hour window where it's working optimally. So your liver is between 1 and 3 o'clock. And then the gallbladder is 11, it's just before 12 o'clock anyway. So if you're going to bed very late, you're missing out on all that as well. So it's really important to get to bed. If you're one of these at the night owl going to bed 1, 2 o'clock every night, you're really missing out on the optimal deep sleep that your body can possibly have. So that's why it's always best. And I find for me personally, if I go to bed at even just after 12 o'clock, I feel like I have a hangover the next morning. So yeah, going to bed before 12, yeah, it does. It makes sense.
Okay, thank you, Beamy. And 2 more questions. So Donald and then Trish. Then we'll move on to the next part. So Donald.
Joanne, this is about sleep and fasting.
Yeah.
If someone is doing a slightly more serious fast than you described,
yeah,
it's obviously good that the body is not digesting while sleeping. But does the brain need some glucose to take it through the night?
Yeah. You have to. Yeah, you do. You need a certain amount of glucose because the body is still doing some stuff, and the brain is actually more active at nighttime. But when you go below that baseline, as I said, and if you eat too many sugary foods, you get that rise and then the dip, the fall. You go below baseline, that's when your cortisol kicks in. But yeah, you do have to have a level of cortisol during the nighttime. And just in relation to fasting, when your body is burning fat, your brain loves energy from fat because it's all that ketones, and your brain is like you're on fire with your brain. Cognitive function, all that, because it loves that as an energy source more than glucose.
Can the brain switch over to burning fat during the night if necessary?
Well, it will do. Your body is intelligent. Your body will do whatever it needs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks, Donald. And Trish.
I was just unmuting myself there. Joanne, if you take a sleeping tablet, right, does that affect the whole rhythm of the job, say, or the duty of the different hormones,
Yeah, sleeping tablets, I'm not a fan of sleeping tablets, but it's a short-term solution. It really is a short-term solution, maybe to help you get back into rhythm or whatever. But with sleeping tablets, you're not getting a true sleep. You're not getting that deep sleep. You're not getting into that deep sleep. But sometimes it's better than, if God knows what situation people are going through and they take sleeping tablets, right? But it's really just to give them a breathing space to get back on track with their sleep, really, in my opinion. But sleeping tablets and other medications can interfere with your REM sleep. And REM sleep is really, really important for all that emotional healing, that mental health, all that stuff. And I could go on. We can have a chat if you want. But there's a lot. Yeah, sleeping tablets, you don't get a full effective sleep basically with sleeping tablets, but sometimes it's necessary short term.
All right, Joanne, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Joanne. And again, I think this is something we could pull up 40, 50 more questions on and have a full conversation on it. So, and it is fascinating. I'll be looking here to see, but I have your book Joanne's book inside in my other room, so I was going to show it to you guys because I highly recommend that you get it, by the way. All right, there you go. That's the book, How to Get a Good Night's Sleep. Joanne has, I think you have the link up here in the chat anyway.
Yeah.
But
and listen, Pat, if anyone wants that book, I'll give them the free audio as well.
There you go. You know, you have 2 reasons why to get the book, right? And 8 other reasons. It's called 8 Hours of Sleep, right? And but there's so much that looks into that, even for me personally, right? Based on my previous life and the industry I was in, and so much made sense when I actually went through that and got a better understanding of what actually goes on with the body. You know, particularly when you if you're anywhere like me, thinking you're Superman and you could go 3 or 4 nights with no sleep, right? And but not effectively realize the long-term effect that actually does have. So there's a lot of pardon the pun, but a lot of food for thought in there, right? But highly recommend it. So guys, we'll move on to the next part of the meeting where I will ask you guys to come in, tell us who you are, please, try and keep it to approximately 1 minute, okay? Who you are, what you do, and how can you serve people here, or how can people help you, okay? And then some positive feedback for Joanne. And a couple of things I've noted, Joanne, for positive feedback. I love the circadian rhythm, the whole concept of that. I'm a little bit disappointed to find out that we're not cavemen anymore, though. That surprised me. I thought we were still cavemen, and but
there'll always be a bit of cavemen.
There'll always be it. and I'm also thrilled to find out that I can sleep more and lose weight. Right, that's fantastic. We can stay in bed all day.
It's an easy one, isn't it?
So great news. But there's so much in there to take away, to be honest with you. And again, understanding the time restricted eating, because we are habit, right? And that's the reality. It's down to everything. No matter what you do in life, it's down to habits. The habits will define who you are and define your outcomes. So brilliant information, Joanne. Thank you. So Brendan, and what we do, we'll get the feedback, Joanne, and we'll come back to you then at the end for your feedback. Okay. So Brendan.
Good morning, everybody. Brendan Kilcullen is my name, and I'll start with Joanne first there. First of all, I have read Joanne's book. I have done our course as well, which I found absolutely, I think everybody should do it. It's fantastic. And I suppose the one little nugget or bit of information that I got from Joanne was I had a habit of leaving my mobile phone in the bedroom on the dressing table. But now I've taken it out of the room altogether, and I certainly tell you, my sleeping pattern is, I would say, 100%. I can get me 7 or 8 hours every night now. I know you give me a thumbs up, because I did wake up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. I was wondering how it was keeping me awake, but I think it was the mobile phone. But I have read Joanne's book. I have it here somewhere. I could do it reading it again, but fantastic read. I would advise anybody, and Joanne hasn't paid me to say anything about her book, but it certainly is fantastic. And as far as the caveman is concerned, I'm still a little bit of a caveman because I take Juice Plus, Pat, because it's raw fruit, veg and berries in a capsule, and the cavemen didn't cook anything, they ate it all raw, and many, many years ago we started destroying our food by cooking it. So we still do it, and we'll probably do it forevermore. So I certainly don't have my raw veg every day. So that's me. If anybody wants to talk to me about raw fruit, veg and berries, just get in contact with me. Thanks, Pat.
Brilliant. Thank you, Brendan. Austin.
Presentation, Joanne, as always. Definitely from your presentation and from your answering the questions. You obviously are a great expert on sleep, and we spend a third of our life sleeping, but it also affects the other 2/3 of our lives, so it's very important. And I studied a lot before because I used to sell mattresses and was interested in the sleep area. So yeah, brilliant. For myself, I am in the wellness profession. We have 100 different products, and one of them, reishi. Reishi is one of the products that we have, which helps with de-stressing and has high antioxidants and anti-inflammatory. But it also helps quality of sleep, improving the quality of sleep too, as Joanne knows. So if you know someone that wants to try something to improve their wellness, we have reishi, and it's also in our coffees. And a lot of people in our group are drinking this special coffee. So that's me. Thanks, Pat.
Thank you, Austin. And Gary.
Hello and good morning, everyone. Thanks to Pat for including me, and thanks so much to Mary for the kind invitation to join. Wonderful to meet you all. Joanne, amazing. I'm a big fan of sleep, and I will be Googling my melatonin foods when we leave, but I think I'll be getting your book as well.
Donal.
Yes, Joanne. What I really liked about that is the connections between things, the connection between sleep and weight loss, the connection between sleep and diabetes, the connection between sleep and testosterone, and then the corresponding connection between testosterone and weight. And the other thing that I liked that you said was about perspective. It's perspective is, you could nearly say perspective is everything. And I liked the way you talked about perspective in particular. And for myself, I came with a little quote, and it fits in perfectly with what Joanne was saying. The miracle is not in what changes, but rather in our change of perspective. I had that before your presentation, Joanne, by the way, but it fits in beautifully with what you said on perspective. So thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Donal. And Trish.
Well, first of all, Joanne, thank you very much. I have thoroughly enjoyed that presentation. I knew that there was a connection with weight and sleep, but I didn't know the science behind it. So I was really interested in knowing that, because, you know, your quote was amazing, because we often fear what we do not understand. Our best defense is knowledge. Well, I absolutely love that, and I'm going to be using that because that's so true. So I have gained knowledge today on why the sleep could be disturbed in relation to the fat gain as well. So love the quote, love the presentation. Thank you very much. So my name is Trish, and I have been studying personal development probably for over 25 years now, but really in depth for about a year and a half. And I'm really passionate now about sharing with people what I've been studying, but also the growth that can take place once you believe in yourself. Once you get rid of the way your mind has been programmed for years, you start to reprogram it, you get better belief in yourself, and all of a sudden there's a new life ahead of you. You now can move forward with your dreams, your goals, you will achieve things. So I'm truly passionate about that.
Joanne, there are a few things down here. Certainly the circadian rhythms, that's quite fascinating for me. I'm someone who's never had problems sleeping, so quite fascinated with that. I liked your comment about best defense is applied knowledge, and applied knowledge actually works with anything. And testosterone, if it makes men look 10 to 15 years older, do I look 10 to 15 years younger because of all the extra sleep I get? So thank you very much for that, Joanne. I'm Karen Newton, Wealth Coach, author, speaker. Thanks.
Thank you, Karen. John Donnelly.
Thanks, Pat. Thanks, Joanne. And a special thanks to Joanne for, first of all, for the knowledge. It's incredible, and the expertise is incredible. And very special thanks to Joanne for being our very first member of your Holistic Academy. And so thrilled to have you on board, Joanne, and looking forward to working together with you and building the platform. It's this sort of specialist expertise that we need to get out there into the world in all different sectors. And that's what Your Holistic Academy brand is about. It's about getting that expertise out into the world on a global platform, and we're connecting. We're open for business. Our website will be launched fully next week, and we're looking for people who, if anybody in the holistic world who wants to join a brand which is going global. So thank you, guys. Thanks, Pat.
Thank you, John. Sharon Bannister.
Hi, John. I loved your presentation. Yeah, I was smiling away and nodding, and it was so funny because I saw Jennifer was doing the same, because we pump it away at the students, you know. And yeah, melatonin is you can easily get it anywhere in New York. You know, I used to pop it all the time when I was coming back on the plane, you know, so you don't get jet lag. It's brilliant. Great tips. I definitely want to get hold of your book. I would definitely like to hook up with you and talk, and you know, possibly be on your podcast if that's relevant. Everything sort of into marriage. I'm tidying up my profile on LinkedIn. I'm trying to build up myself as a brand and put myself out there. I've got a surprise call. I've got to do be on a panel for Sky TV on Sunday, so that's a bit of a shock. I helped out somebody and they asked me to be on. So please pray for me. And then I'm also going to do I realized I need to do a Facebook page, group, not a page, for what I do anyway in general, as I'm preparing for also supporting adult adoptees in the future. So what I think my call to action today is, please like anything I post on Facebook, YouTube and LinkedIn. That would really, really help me. And obviously anything I can do for anybody else, I will do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Adrian.
Good morning, everybody. Adrian Gallagher here, Greenway Financial Advisors. First to Joanna, it's so lovely to hear an absolute expert on their subject talk. No matter what question, Joanna, anybody threw at you, you had the answer straight away, immediately, right? And that's a real mark of a person that really knows what they're talking about. So, and you reminded me of so many things I should be doing about, I'm a great believer in going to bed early and other stuff, but don't always do it. So well done, and thanks again. And I will reread your book again. For ourselves in Greenway Financial Advisors, we are trying to help business people and individuals to manage their financial lives so that they have the resources and the goals to achieve their goals and dreams. So what we're looking for is people out there with small businesses that need help to bring general management structures and disciplines built up over 30 years to their businesses so that they run them well and all the time, and build up good habits like Joanne says. So thanks very much, everybody. Adrian Gallagher, Greenway Financial Advisors.
Thank you, Adrian. And be me.
Hi, Pat. Thanks, Pat. Joanne, like you've shared a lot of information and thank you for sharing them. I am in the work of, bringing down my cortisol myself to reduce inflammation and all that. So that's why I asked all those questions. I'll catch up with you. And second thing is, you have an amazing smile. So that just came out radiating throughout your presentation. Keep it up. I'll catch up with you again. Otherwise, I create products, natural products, skincare and natural perfumes. I have an amazing food balm created at the moment. If anyone is interested, reach out to me and I'll share all the details. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Beamy. And Mary.
Morning, everybody. Joanne, that was really interesting, as always. I have to say I'm really blessed. I have never had any issues with sleeping, and I go to bed I go to bed like super early, embarrassingly early, maybe like 9 or 9:30 every night, and I'm up really early. So I do recall, however, many years ago when I was a flight attendant, we used to take melatonin. We used to buy it when we were in the States and take that because sometimes we had to do night flights, and so we would take melatonin during the day to try and sleep so we could be up and about during the night for the night flight. So I'd like to find out if melatonin is something that you should take as a supplement, if it helps also with weight loss. That would be really interesting. And another thing that I would like to understand is that you mentioned about not eating 3 hours before you go to sleep. Having lived in Italy and travelled a lot of European people eat really late, but they still seem to be thin. So that's something, I'm assuming that's down to their habit and lifestyle and body clock as well. So just a few interesting points. But thanks a million. Yeah, really interesting. And I will probably be getting your book to read up a wee bit more about that. So my name is Marion Carroll. I am owner and founder of Titanic Denim, a sustainable denim company based in Belfast. I create bespoke pieces of denim. And at the moment I am creating a sustainable face masks. So if anybody is interested, please get in contact. Otherwise, have a fantastic weekend. Thanks again, Joanne, Pat, and everybody else for your continual support and
nice to see you here, Gary. So all the best, everybody. Have a good weekend.
And here's one of her face masks, right? So there you go. Jennifer.
Oh, Pat. Oh, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Well, Joanne, what can I say? Fascinating. I just loved every bit of that. It's right up my street. Like what Sharon was saying, we were nodding away there and I was getting really excited about it all. I just can't, express how the importance of sleep is so important and part of the whole, in our lifestyle as a whole. And there was so much there. Even Donald, you were talking about, does our brain need, the glycogen or whatever, but in fact, it's 72 hours before our bodies are totally depleted of glycogen. So you're okay if you don't eat for a while, it's fine. And in relation to melatonin foods, like straight up, things like fish, eggs and almond nuts are actually a really good source of melatonin as well, just for naturally kind of intaking of melatonin. But like that, it's all down to habits and practices, and lifestyle plays such an important role when it comes to getting a decent night's sleep. So things like for repairing and obviously fat loss and that, it would be very, very good to actually start doing some kind of resistance training in that as well to really help a natural sleep. So I'm actually starting an online community. It's solely for women at the minute because we'll be kind of focusing on menopausal issues as well. But don't worry, Gary, you can always contact me in relation to other things, as well. So that's why I do have male clients as well. That's no problem at all. But so today I'm on to my call to action is for this group that I'm setting up on the 10th of August. I'm really excited about it. It's going to be a community for women to help with lifestyle practices, which will improve your sleep. It will help with weight loss. It's not a diet program, but I guarantee you will lose weight on it because you're building up habits over time, because we all know that small practices and actions done over time will lead to greater changes and an overall better lifestyle and well-being as well. Plus, we're all doing it together as a community, so we're all there to encourage and, help one another and remain accountable to one another. So I've opened up for founding members as a special offer of a lifetime membership for $570, and you're getting a full year's program with that and any updates and further down the road and discounted prices for events and that as well. Or you can do 12 monthly payments of $57 with a 3-month commitment. So if it's not for you, you can leave after 3 months, that's fine. But I guarantee you won't want to leave because it's an absolutely outstanding program, really, really is. So if anyone is interested in that, ladies, if you know of anyone that would love to join our community and build up our tribe online, just get in contact with me. I've left my link in the chat box there. So thank you all and have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you, Jennifer. And I believe I've covered everybody. So Joanne, let's come back to you for some feedback on
it's incredible.
Feedback.
Yeah, it was incredible. Great feedback. I'm really delighted that people value the information because that's really important. That's the first step. Donal, you were saying a big thing about perspective, and for me, perspective creates a reality. So it's just massive, and reality is different for everybody. So yeah, perspective is a big one. It's our view of life. Patricia, I love your mind group page. I'm going to be looking at that as well, and believing in themselves, which is who is a Sharon. I was thinking of Sharon when she's going on her Sky interview. So listen to what Patricia was saying there. I've done a lot of interviews with people. Brendan, we're meeting later on today at 4 o'clock, so we're going to be recording an interview. Aaron O'Dowd is going to be out tomorrow, and Jennifer, your one is going to be out the following week. All right, and Sharon, I'll send you the link, and we'll get hooked up. And I've interviewed Therese, John. I've interviewed her during the week. Don't know when she's going to be out. And then we're going to do one with yourself as well. So if anyone else wants to contact me and do a podcast, it'd be brilliant. But I'm really delighted overall. Oh, Mary was saying, was it Mary and Marie was saying about the Europeans and the diet. I think I'm going to look that one up, but I think straight off I was thinking they'd be eating more of a Mediterranean diet. So it'd be like lots of plant foods and olive oil and nuts and all that kind of thing. So less of the carbs, because the carbs is where all the blood sugar issues happen and all that weight gain and all that kind of stuff. So that might be definitely a big factor in it. I'm going to look that one up. So thanks a million for all the comments. I think I've written down all the notes here. Yeah, I'm really excited, and I'm just so excited that you've taken the value and you're going to hopefully take some actionable steps for yourselves and improve your sleep and improve your weight loss if that's what you're looking to do.
Super. Thank you, Joanne.
When's your webinar? Yeah, well, you need to do a webinar, I think.
You know something, I think I will create, no, I am going to create a webinar for weight loss. I would, because I had to strip it right down there last night when Pat asked me last minute. But yeah, definitely. And if you're interested, I did a webinar yesterday on Trained In. So if you're interested, I can send you, that's just an overall on sleep. So if you're interested, I can send you the link for that as well. You can watch the replay if you're interested in that. But yeah, definitely I'm going to put together a webinar for weight loss because it's definitely a big one, a big pain point for a lot of people.
Perfect. Thanks, Joanne. Thank you, Sharon. And again, thank you to everybody for being here. We do appreciate you. And again, remember the call to action is to reach out, right? And again, remember, if you don't know how, somebody on here probably does. And again, little hinges that swing big doors. Don't be thinking that your little bit of help and support you can give won't make a difference, because it actually does. Okay. So if you have any way you think that you might be able to offer support, offer it. If it's not something that will work, it's okay. Nobody's going to be offended by you offering a little bit of help if you feel that you can, and a little bit of support for people who are in here. So guys, on that note, thank you again, and have an absolutely outstanding weekend. Right? Get out there, live it, love it, do what you do best. Thanks so much, guys. All right, have an absolutely outstanding weekend. Take care.
Thanks a million, Pat.
Take care.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.